Ahoy everyone, it is Jeff aka Godless Scummer. Yeah, just chilling this afternoon to be honest. Just chilling out. I guess if anyone wants to come in they can, providing I know you of course, I've got my rule about that. I should, okay, what's happened there? Am I back? Tell me I'm back. Tell me I'm back. Something my internet just oh, okay. Okay guys. Am I just let me know, am I back now? Because cool, brilliant. Because I don't know what happened. Looks like I'm on Wi-Fi, unfortunately. So yeah, um, yeah. I've also got to be honest. I still haven't got a decent microphone at the moment as well. So if I'm sound a bit crap, yeah, that's why. Unfortunately, I don't know. Probably should try and get one going. Okie doke. Put the link in the chat. Just give me a chance to pin that. Okay. Do goodness sake. Okay, this isn't going well, is it? This isn't going well at all. Huh. Okay, it looks like this might be a very short little stream if my internet keeps crapping out like that. Yeah, but not really anything, Barry. I'm just kind of just chilling today, really, mate. But I'm kind of having internet issues already, so this isn't a very good start. So, um, I've got to say, Barry, I'll have to get you and John Hamill on at some point to um, talk about the AAI a bit more. So we've got to do that at some time. Yeah, but people welcome to come in. So it says I'm live. I'm just not having a very. It's still freezing, is it, Ring? Oh yeah, Hamill knows has got all of it, and the thing is, uh, I'm not. I can't say too much. I'll just say I've heard through the grapevine that John Richards wants a couple of us wants me and others to stop talking about AAI. So that's kind of like red rag to a bull for me that I'm gonna talk about AAI now. Said that. That's just what I've heard. I'm not gonna say who, for or where, but it's just what I've heard through the grapevine. Um, I mean, I suppose the other thing I was going to look at doing. I mean, I was going to look at. I see Trolley Dave's in the chat. See, I was going to like a little earlier this week. I was going to look at like Creaky Blinders video from about a week ago where I felt he went wrong and stuff. But I think Trolley Dave did such a good job on pointing that out. That he did a very good job on the whole thing. So yeah. Yeah, Ukraine can wait. Yeah, like yeah, we got real problems. That, that's a joke. In case anyone from Ukraine is watching, that is a joke. Yeah, that's never gonna ring. That's never gonna get old, is it? John Richards complain. Oh, that is never going to get old. Blokes and I just find him an absolute. He's an absolute bloke's a numpty. He really is. Bloke is an absolute numpty. But yeah, I don't get why he's no, no, you did a very good breakdown of where I think he went, where and like I said, I don't think I mean, look, Creaky Blinders not being dishonest or anything in his videos or in that video where he um addressed that apologist. I just don't think Creaky kind of has explored these topics and kind of did that video, and I don't think he understood what he was I don't he probably don't to be honest, look, it's only the sort of stuff I used to sort of parrot from a couple of years ago off of like atheist YouTubers that I watched. So I think it. I can't hold that against Creaky, but where he's got a big following, I think it was good that yourself, that you sort of addressed where he went wrong. Uh, oh yes, so Barry. That's John Richards. Yeah, I've heard that. I have heard that he used to be a teacher. Um, Apparently a science teacher. That's what I've heard. Um, but he has almost kind of got that attitude as a bit of a condescending teacher talking to us like we're children. He does have that kind of. He does kind of come across a bit that way, I find. But like I said, at the end of the day, though, I mean John Richards. I think he's not from what I've listened to, like Free Thought Profit and what I've read. John Richards is he's only a player in this. He definitely wasn't the mastermind or the big, behind the coup or anything like that. But I think where he's the one who's kind of recently stuck his head above the trenches or whatever to um, defend what's happened, what AAI and what they've done and why they did what they did. He's kind of the guy who's actually, I think by trying, I think it's almost a little bit of Streisand effect going on there by trying to, you know, shut the criticism down. It's actually making people a bit more curious about what's going on. Yeah, uh, yes, that would be Bill Flavelle. Yes. Oh, that wasn't that great on your. I gotta say on your on Free Thought Profit on your show there. I thought that was fantastic that he wasn't going to mention names or anything, and then I think he just totally, without even meaning to, he just threw the other guys on the AAI board completely under the bus, and I don't even think he realizes he did it because he was saying about all this special measures stuff and whatever, which is completely different from what the board of AAI have been saying for the last 4 or 5 years, that everything was done within the rules and there was no sort of special measure type thing or anything. So yeah, yeah, John. I mean, John. Sometimes you just see John Richards. There's a part of me what just wants me to tell him to stop hitting himself. Honestly, you can't. There is a part of me sometimes. It's just like John, stop hitting yourself. I could just picture Bill Flavelle watching that stream and going, "Oh fuck, John, will you shut up?" You know. Mm. Oh yeah, that was quite funny. That was quite funny actually. Um, yeah, you're quite right, Barry. You're absolutely right. Shifting it away from himself, but as I said, I'm just sort of chilling and drinking this afternoon. It's gonna probably be my social life for a little while. Is gonna be sort of YouTube hangouts. I'd have thought because with strikes coming up, and I don't at work, and I don't know how long this dispute's going to go on for it. Yeah, little trips out to the pub are probably going to have to be well, a lot less anyway. Let's put it than they currently are. If not cut out altogether, they're going to be a lot rarer. So you know, kind of hanging out. It's all right though. I suppose. Look at the bright side, it gives you a chance to hang out with you guys a bit more, doesn't it? You know. But I haven't, like I said, I don't really plan anything. It's just hang out. If anyone wants to come in and join, chat for a bit, yeah, sure. Hit us up. Ugh. It wouldn't surprise me if they try and do that. I mean, they both the candidates have been um, sort of threatening to get tough on unions and that again. I mean, yeah, yeah. Oh, actually, talk about okay, Barry. You might appreciate this one. I don't know if you saw the headline actually. I don't know if Math Pig's still listening in, but see that headline where it says Liz Truss said something about politics in Northern Ireland, and she said um, Sinn Féin is trying to drive a wedge between the Northern Ireland and Great Britain. And I just saw that, and my immediate reaction to that is no shit, Sherlock. Um, that's kind of what Sinn Féin. It's kind of what they're about in a way. You know, I don't know a lot about Northern Irish politics. I really don't, but I do know enough to know Liz Truss is stating the bloody obvious there. That pretty much everybody knows that. So that's the woman who's likely to be our next prime minister. It's not like we're. I thought we, you know, thought we might get it. Yeah, yeah. Um, I guess it's yeah. If you're right there, I'd say that if Liz Truss is the answer, people are asking the wrong fucking question. Um, it's it doesn't give me it does not give me a lot of hope looking at either of those two. It's Hanbury, she said, openly stated he was going to move public funds from underdeveloped areas to rich towns. So much for the levelling up agenda. Yeah, so much for this whole levelling up shit. Yeah, British politics is. I mean, it's. I think it's probably the only reason I like hanging around with Americans on like YouTube and the internet and stuff. That their politics their politics is even more fucking depressing than ours. Um, HS2, yeah, that's a clusterfuck as well. That is an absolute clusterfuck. But yeah, we're yes, as of as I wouldn't know. I've never watched it. I've no intention of watching it either. Um, but yeah, things have it is getting it. You know, I'm supposed to be. I don't know if and when we're going to do this. I'm supposed to be going on with. You guys know Isaiah who came on the channel. We had that debate about whether atheism is a cult or whatever. And I mean, what I was supposed to be going on his channel and um talking to him about British politics. We started doing that like a couple of weeks ago, and then you know what happened at the beginning of my stream there? The internet crapping out. That started happening. I think he had some issues as well. So, and I don't know. We just, for whatever reason, we've not gotten around to doing that again. Either he's been busy or I've been busy. But I'm kind of cool. I'm cool with him. I mean, I know he's annoyed a lot of people, but I'm cool with him now. He's been okay with me. So I'm kind of, so he's been okay with me. We did not start off on the right foot, and obviously I still disagree, and I still think he's absolutely utterly wrong if he thinks atheism is a cult. He's absolutely, well, it's nothing. It's no, he's demonstrably wrong on that. To be honest, but yeah, I've got to be honest. I haven't. I know it's. I haven't really deeply dived into like HS2 and that. It's. I mean, to be honest, ever since we privatised our railways, anything to do with our railways has been an absolute clusterfuck. I think maybe they're starting to finally realise that this franchising thing is just not. It's not viable. It's absolutely not viable. Um, well, there's no one at the top making all the money and banging all the hotties, so it doesn't cost anything. There might be, well, there might be. You could say there might be one or two. There might be one or two ones that are a bit more popular than others. Should we say that are making a bit of bank? And I don't want to go into too much, but of maybe, yeah, I, but or have allegedly been getting a lot of sex, but I don't think it's on the same scale, and I don't think it's on the same scale at all. Um, I don't know. A lot of the so I don't have. I don't. There's in fact a lot of the sort of so-called sort of leaders, and especially not what this sort of online atheist community, people I don't have a lot of time for actually. Some of them, um, you know, I don't. I mean, I'll be honest. I don't have a lot of time for Matt Dillahunty at all. As an example, um, but yeah, it's definitely. But you're right, but it's definitely not on the same scale as goes on with these churches and some of these cults, But it's all a bit. But yeah, I don't think. I mean, I totally agree with obviously Isaiah on that, and I just think well, there's nothing wrong. He is just wrong on that. But it was a respectful conversation. Yeah. Oh, I don't. Well, yeah, I don't know what your sort of beef with him is or whatever. I don't know. I mean, to be honest, I think actually he's not as popular amongst sort of atheist circles as he used to be. Actually, I have noticed that he's not as revered as he was a few years ago by people. I mean, my only real issue with him is I actually find the level. So this is why I can't watch things like the Atheist Experience anymore, because I just think the level of conversation he's having with people now is just pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. There's certain things that I've heard he's been saying that are just absolutely fucking wrong as well. So, and really, he should know they're wrong. Sorry, I'm just going off camera for 2 seconds. But it's like I don't know if Trolley Dave's still in the listening in or anything, but I've heard he's been because Trolley Dave did a good video on this like drive by certain atheist activists to try and redefine the term anti-theism recently. And I've had one or two people want to say that to me on Twitter. Now I have heard that Dillahunty's one of these people who's involved with that. I haven't heard him directly say that, so I'll be a little cautious here. But I have heard he and the ACA are like one of the sort of proponents of trying to redefine that term. Um, I don't even understand what. Well, okay, I mean, probably Dave actually did a very good video on it. It's probably on Answers and Reasons channel as well. That what the sort of agenda with that is. Um, that could be a good idea to roast a Dillahunty. Yeah, that could be actually a good idea. Um, I think he's definitely. But yeah, I have noticed though that there's the reverence people used to have, sort of rather unquestioning reverence. A lot of people had for him is not there anymore. So, which I think in a way is a kind of a good thing because we don't want people. We don't really want we don't really want people set up as our sort of our own sort of church leader types, do we? We don't want that. We don't need that. I kind of feel one or two of these guys. It was kind of getting like that, even if that wasn't that wasn't anyone's intention. Um, mm, but yes. So, oh, by the way, Barry, I did read some of that stuff. John actually CC'd me some that email the other day with the exchange about like Bill Flavel's daughter being involved in that whole thing with AI. I was reading that, I'm thinking, what on earth? Yeah, possibly, possibly. Yeah, I mean, I, I mean, obviously, I understand the need for like atheist activism and atheist being political. So I mean, it's why you guys have discussions about AAI. We need organisations like AAI. We just okay, in its current form, um, it's a highly problematic. But we kind of I think we all kind of want to see it return to what it once was. And the problem is it's like you kind of left with two options really. It's either you've got a campaign to try and turn AI back to what it was, or you've got to try and or the only other alternative is to try and set up something else, which is probably going to be even more difficult. And I mean, you look at those. I didn't know. I don't know. I haven't I mean, I'm sure Barry, you guys have probably dived into all that whole AAI, IAA, whatever split, which I just thought was an absolute. I mean, they were even more of a fucking clown card than AAI, to be honest. I thought and they what did they last? What about a year at tops? Um, and yeah, I just thought they were. I mean, they were they were. I couldn't take them seriously at all. I absolutely couldn't take them seriously at all. Um, yeah, yeah. I mean, it was all very back in People's Front of Judea, wasn't it? It was all a bit, yeah. It was all a bit, it just looks so stupid. If you just look at this, and you know, you're just looking for that. Really, it was just a whole. And I mean, I don't think did they even last a year? I can't remember. I don't think they even lasted a year, did they? It was rather pathetic. Yeah, 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 it's pretty much. You're right. And yeah, it was, and I mean that's how it. And this is the thing. This is how it looked to people outside of the situation as well. You know, it's like AAI, fuck off. We're IAA. It was, it was bloody Pete. It was so. You're just an outsider looking in at this, and you're thinking, what the fuck is wrong with these people? It was, you know. So that's it was the first free thought profit podcast I did about this thing. So it wasn't a complete waste of time. So that's how you got how you got onto this down this rabbit hole. Was it Barry? I'll have to go back and listen. I think I might have listened to that because it might have been one of the episodes I've because I have listened to gone back and listened to a few episodes of Free Thought Profit just to try and get a bit more familiar with the AAI story. Um, you know, um, yeah, that's true as well. There's so many. Yeah, I do find that this is. I mean, this is the problem, isn't it? You've got. I mean, you got certain groups that I just find that yeah, is this personalities at the top of some of them. But yeah, it was. And you're right, Barry. That whole thing was just ridiculous. I've just found it ridiculous. It was that was March 2021. Everything's gotten much stupider since. Ugh. Yeah, yeah, I know, but I know that. But see, but in a way, it's a kind of a. It shows you the kind of problem you've got really when you said your two options are either you've got to somehow rid AAI of that cabal that's there right now, or you've got to try and form something new. And forming something new is really is could be probably even more difficult. Um, it's not easy to build from the start. Um, so hmm, yeah, I don't know. Right, okay. I'll repost the link in the chat if anyone does want to come in. But I don't know what's going on with YouTube. It won't let me pin comments these days. I don't know why. It was never a problem before, but for some reason, YouTube don't like me pinning comments anymore. Oh, I think I know why. Hold on. Oh, yeah, yeah. I think I know why I can't pin comments, and I'm gonna. I think. Oh, I don't know why. I think this thing has put me. I think this my YouTube account for some reason is on the wrong bloody channel. I don't understand this. Shouldn't be. I don't understand that at all, though. Okay, let's try this again. Think I might. I think I might. I'm wondering why. I was wondering why I was having problems. So let's try that again. Yes, we pinned finally. Yeah, I don't know why. For some reason, Google moved me to my old account. Prey was really good. I haven't watched it yet, Ring. Haven't watched it. So, um, yeah, that's it. That's what it was, Sandy. That's exactly what it was. It's not a soccer. I just got an account in my own name, to be honest, as well, on YouTube, but I don't use it. It's not for some reason because it was probably was my original name or whatever. I just, probably explains why I was having problems. So anyway, it's pinned there if anyone does want to come in. Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch Prey at some point. I do. I do quite like the Predator franchise as a whole. I did like that. I did get I did like. I do love that Mandalorian meme that's going about. Let me see if I can find it. I'm sure I posted it the other day. Okay. Yeah, this one. If people can see that, but the Mandalorian. I need more work. Got anything for me? Carl Weathers. I want these three bought in cold. It's personal. So you got the alligator, predator, Ivan Drago. I know. That amused me. I'm easily amused. Um, I, that one. That I did. I did enjoy that one. Um, yeah, I do. There's some good, I've seen some good like Star Wars memes recently. They're quite funny. Um, but that's been one of my favourites. Oh, what's the other one here? Do oh yeah, what happens when you shrink your Jedi Master in the wash? I'd never even I never even noticed the old. Oh, I've got someone. Jenny.
Sound like you're taking me off of a hook from in a fishing boat. Hi, good morning, everybody.
Good to see you. It's been, well, actually, I bumped into you briefly on Perp's channel the other day, didn't I? But
Uh-huh.
mm,
I think this is one of the rare times that I've ever been on your channel.
you've been on here a few times now, I think.
Yeah, just a few, not much.
Yeah.
What are you rating?
Yeah. Oh, gee, we're just chilling today, really. Just been really in the chat. So we got everyone saying hi. Sandy, Barry. So
Hi,
all saying
Sandy.
hi to you.
Hi,
All saying
Barry.
hi. But yeah, I was saying to Barry because I'm gonna probably have to get John Hamill and some of the other guys from the podcast, the Free Thought Profit podcast that Barry's on, like come and talk about this Atheist Alliance International clusterfuck because that's the gift that story's like the gift that keeps on giving. So,
Which one's that now?
oh, it's the group Atheist Alliance International. It was the one that was like the sort of like the one that was the sort of coalition of all the other little groups from each countries or whatever.
Oh,
But but it sort of got hijacked by got hijacked a few years ago by this little blooming cabal of like old men, pretty much. But
Every group that's out there goes through those exact same growing pains of they're around for a couple of years, and they're getting organized and trying to start to find their purpose and identity and things like that, and then everything blows up and everybody's out to
yeah,
kill each other, and
well,
then
this
and then
is
it begins to
yeah.
settle down again.
Well,
It's weird.
the thing with this one is this was a well established group that had been around for a long time. I mean, it's like like they're not. I mean, and they'll tell you this themselves. Like they're the only like group, atheist group that's got like a invite to the United Nations and the Council of Europe and that to speak, which is obviously which is their big thing. Um, which is kind of good in a way because it means that they could you could have like what happened I think a few years ago. They were able to get someone from like Atheist Ireland or whatever to go to like the UN and speak against the blasphemy laws that are in Ireland and stuff. So it was, it serves a purpose in that sort of. Unfortunately, is people who took it over a few years ago they took it over dishonestly. Have just fucked it all. It's a shame.
Yeah, well, that's what human beings do.
Yeah,
They fuck with each other until they find out.
yeah, totally. It's just yeah, it's but yeah, I mean I'm not a fan of a lot of the atheist organisations out there, to be honest. Well, I mean, there must be some good ones. I'm sure there are, but any of the ones that should apply to me, I don't fancy joining. So you know,
Well, you are an English guy, so who knows what's going to happen.
well, I ain't going to be joining Atheism UK for a start because that's John Richards' group. So yeah, it won't be happening. And yeah, it's Barry's saying it's not really growing pains to that organisation. It's because it's been around a long time. Yeah. Oh well. Okay, Sarah. But it is.
I'm just trying to set you up here so you have some visual instead of just my ugly face.
Oh, you out in the car again?
Yeah. Yeah, I was out and grabbed the breakfast and
Weather nice where you are at the moment, or?
it's just cloudy, a little misty, but it's about 68 degrees maybe.
Mm.
Pleasant enough.
It's similar here actually. It's like it's a little bit overcast, but it's it's not cold or anything. It's quite nice.
We got to get more of that parking lot out of there. That's ugly. This is my custom duct tape camera mount.
Man, there's nothing you can't fix with duct tape.
That's true. There, we just built a camera mount in the car with duct tape. As long as the window's not too steep, we can do that. I'm almost out of duct tape though.
Mm.
Duct tape is really expensive.
I haven't had to buy any for a while actually, so I don't.
I like this Gorilla brand. You know, they make Gorilla glue and
I don't think we get those brands over here.
Well, Gorilla duct tape is absolutely the best I have ever run into. It sticks like crazy. It's just really nice. Oh, here's somebody coming by in their golf cart, which we're allowed to drive in this town. On the main streets. How about that, eh?
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know if it's legal or not, but the cop doesn't care. So Neither of the cops care. We have two cops. They switch days.
Yeah, that sounds okay.
So how's your strike going?
How's my?
Aren't you on
What?
strike?
We go out on Friday. We're due to. That's the first of like going to be like 4 days that have been called. So
if you want to mail something, better do it today.
yeah, I mean, one hopes that they might, that one hopes that 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 they'll get back around the table again in the next few days, but I don't see it happening. I think but I will tell you one thing. I did read. I don't really like talking about because I've got to be a little careful what I say on social media. So I am a bit conscious of that. But there was some big news yesterday that they were planning to bring in like agency workers as strike breakers, and there's a big agency in the UK called Manpower. Went and told them yesterday, no, we're not supplying labour for you to break a strike. So that was a pretty big. I mean, that's a little bit of a punch in the nose to any of their strike breaking plans. So, I mean, obviously there's other employment agencies out there, but Manpower are like the big one. So
I think I'm pretty sure that's the same Manpower as we have in the States. That's
yeah, I think they're like
company,
I think they're
company
like an
that started.
international. I think they're an
It's a company
international
that
group.
started in Wisconsin.
Yeah, I think they're like an international group. But yeah,
Elmer Winter used to be the guy who founded it and ran for a lot of years.
yeah, it probably is. Yeah, because I've got a feeling they are an international company, so that would make sense. But yeah, they pretty much told our company, no, we're not supplying labour for you to break a strike,
That's cool.
which is just good. So want other like employment agencies to follow suit now. So, but that's that's good. That was very good.
Geez, I had something else I was going to mention, but now it's gone. Getting old way too fast. So how's your country adjusting to Liz Truss?
Well, she's not. Let's just put it that way. She's not much of an improvement. But she's not officially. She isn't officially there yet, is she? But it's almost certainly going to be her. The other guys, I don't think's got much of a hope. Rishi Sunak.
I thought the election already occurred.
No, unless I've just not been paying attention to the news today, and there's like a really big news story I've missed. I think there's still, but she's been the favourite. She is the favourite to win it, and she's not a. It's not very encouraging. She's not a very bright person. I'm going to tell you that now.
She's not a nice person either.
No. I don't expect. I don't often expect nice. I don't often expect nice out of Conservative Party MPs, to be honest.
Oh, that's for sure.
I mean, there's the odd one or two or whatever that are maybe a little more decent than others, or that you can sort of say, okay, I don't like your politics, but you're kind of a decent human being. But a lot of the time, it does. I think it hasn't happened. I don't think it's happened to the same extent that it's happened in American politics with the Republicans, but I think there's been a little bit more of a shift. We're starting to see the more fringe lunatic right starting to get more and more popular within the Conservative Party, and it's not to quite the same extent as like what's happened with the Republicans in America, but
Well, the conservatives here started to latch on the whole concept of nationalism, populist nationalism, um, about halfway through, about halfway through Obama, and it had to get organized and stuff like that. And about the time that Trump was going to run, it took hold with a lot of people. Tea Party helped do that, and
I
some other
think
activities. And
see, I always think that whole Obama's election, I think really to me, I think it signified just how much bloody racism is still there in the United States because they acted like, I mean, the way they act, they talk about Obama, they talk like he was like some sort of fucking Marxist or something. He really wasn't. He was quite centrist, if anything, if maybe even a little right leaning politically. But you know, they talk about him like he was some, but when it really boils down to it, when I hear them talking about Obama, it's like very clearly under the surface, it's like that it was like, okay, back in 2008, you were just pissed off because the black guy won. That's the problem.
I I I kind of disagree. I think during Obama's actual time in, I think that was all building. What you're saying, it was all there in building, but the the age old tradition of not saying it out loud was still in force, and people who objected to him were behaved, and they would offer their disrespect, but it was in private and kind of a quiet thing. And with the advent of Trump starting to run for election, all bets were off.
Mm.
Nobody fucking cared anymore.
They
Um,
felt they definitely felt very empowered by Donald Trump's
oh yeah,
Trump.
yeah,
They felt empowered to say shit out loud that they would have never dreamed of saying out loud a few years beforehand.
exactly.
Um, I mean, similar. I mean, it's just unfortunately this is it where you get these figures in politics. If they make a breakthrough or whatever, it does empower. Racists do feel rather empowered. I mean, despite, I mean, I've got a lot of issues with the European Union. Okay, as an institution, and I think there's a whole lot that is really rotten about it. But it was very clear that after the referendum in this country about like the Brexit thing, it was very clear that a lot of the racists felt very, very empowered after that to go out and say and do shit. And oh, was that Jade? Jade, long time no see. Links pinned if you want to come in. I haven't seen you in such a long time.
Who is it?
Jaded atheist. Jade, she's awesome.
Yeah, I've seen
She's
her a couple times. Come on
yeah,
in.
she hasn't been if you can, Jade, of course, but you know she hasn't been around for a little while, so yes, Jade's not been around for a little while, so it's kind of nice to see her pop up in the chat. But yeah, that definitely happens in the UK. Though I think a lot of the real like, I mean, one thing that was encouraging is encouraging. Something happened like about a week after the referendum in the UK in my hometown that group of like far right extremists called a demonstration in my hometown. And I thought we were really fearing the worst, like that they were going to come in, and so we tried to organise like a counter demonstration or whatever. And really from scratch, and we didn't because we didn't really think we hadn't really planned. It was so we were trying to desperately organise this demonstration. And about 1,500 people turned up to this demonstration, and this big march by the blooming fascists turned out to be about 9 people. Um, uh, I'm glad. Okay, dealing with family stuff. Finally moved away from it all. Get into my life setup again. That's cool. That's cool, Joe. I'm glad to hear you're it's starting. It's starting to get back to a sort of decent place again. I know, Jade. I know you've been having some of your personal issues. So. So it was, it was just saying, Jen, it was a little encouraging when that we managed to get so many people out locally, and then these fascists who turned out to be like 9 of them. It was a bit it was a little embarrassing for them, I think, because they thought they were going to have a big triumphant march through the city.
Well, there were definitely times when Trump was running in 2016 that he would have a rally and in a space of 10,000 people and 500 would show up.
Yeah.
But it's not that way anymore. When he's on his little "give me money because you're a bunch of fools" trip, he's got thousands and thousands. They're outside too of whatever venue they're on, waiting to hear what he has to say too. It's gotten way intense.
One thing I've never, man, mind you, I don't suppose I should expect any kind of logical train of thought from evangelicals, but I've never understand why they think the evangelical Christians think he's so wonderful, because he sort of does everything that they preach against in church on every Sunday. Trump's guilty of pretty much all of it, and yeah, they think he's wonderful.
So are the evangelicals. I don't care what anybody says about them. They're a bunch of crooks and con artists. They got people
pastors,
running around. Hold on, let me go. I'm gonna rant here. They let people go around doing shit like this, talking in tongues. That's a bunch of bullshit, and they know it. But they get people to do it because it's addicting. It makes the rally that much more fun. It draws people in, and it's their faith healing crap. It's just a whole bunch of shit. I do not believe in the Southern Baptist Convention at all. It is not a Christian organization. It is a con artist organization, as far as I'm concerned. And they were happy to go along with Trump because in his campaign, he decided to say, "Oh, I'm absolutely pro-life." And that's all they had to hear, and they latch onto him. It doesn't matter that he doesn't genuinely feel that way, because he used to be very pro-choice back in the 70s and 80s. But he said for them now, and basically kneeled down and gave them all blowjobs. And he continues to do so with other issues. I think the SBC is a highly racist organization. Okay, and that's another reason that they latched onto Trump. That they get along. The evangelicals have been courted by the right wing since the 60s. Okay, and it is built more and more and more. Intentionally on the Republican Party side, because they see these people as votes, but those people see themselves as control.
Well, I always find it weird because it's obviously, you can see how different, like the way that the relationship with like the evangelicals or whatever, and like the Republican Party. I've always found it quite fascinating that one of the people who warned about this back in the late 60s, early 70s was, of all people, Barry Goldwater, who was, obviously one of the most conservative. He was ran for president, didn't he? And he was very conservative guy, but I think even he sort of looked at the rise of the evangelicals and said, "This is worried. This shit is concerning."
Yep, absolutely, and he was absolutely right. Oh God, I really am still. I know we have the numbers to flip the vote and to get a strong Democratic legislative branch, so that we can actually start accomplishing some of the things that we've needed to. And I think the alarm bell has been rung hard enough right now that
I'd like to hope so. Yeah,
people are realizing that we need to do all these things that they've been not doing for the last 50 years. Because we'd rather bicker amongst ourselves. That we got to band together and be lockstep, just like the conservatives are.
This has always the problem with. It's frustrating being on the left at times, because we spend so much bloody time fighting ourselves. But I get it. Like in 2016, why so many, like the people who supported Bernie, why they were so bloody disillusioned with having Hillary, as the candidate. I could totally see why they were dissing, but and why they wouldn't want to vote for her. But I could, but at the same time, it was like, yeah, but look at the alternative. I mean, you know, it's a much small. It's on a much different scale, but but look, if I look at the people in our parliament now, I'm not a big fan of this guy Keir Starmer who leads the Labour Party at all. I think he's bloody awful on a lot of things. But considering compared to the bloody alternative, yeah, I probably would vote. Like, I'm probably going to vote Labour. I mean, look, if there's a decent like alternative left candidate on the card, I probably would vote that way. But I'm never like not going to vote. And I think that's a big problem. That a lot of people just didn't turn out. They didn't turn out, and like even if it was like in 2016, it's like if I was an American, then yeah, I'd be doing it through gritted teeth, voting for fucking Hillary Clinton. But it's just looking what the fucking alternative was, and look what it turned out to be.
I won't disagree. How I wanted to finish up what I was saying before is the Democrats, with the infighting and all this stuff, that I think the alarm bell has been rung, that the population is realizing that we need to accomplish those things that the Democrats have been promising and running on for the last 50 years, that we need to get these laws passed and codified so that these goddamn conservatives can't lie, cheat, and steal on us anymore. Like the Voting Rights Act has to get back in, and the EPA's got to get its power back, and things like that. But the problem is consistently, like you're saying, is getting the Democrats out to actually vote.
Yeah. I've noticed. I mean, just as an outsider, I've noticed like Democrats are always really bad at going out for midterm elections, and it's like people. I think, yeah, even as an outsider, I can see that they're quite an important thing. The midterms are quite important, and I think people don't seem to understand how important they are.
I agree. The people don't seem to think that they're important as ones that have their president running too, and it's like no, that those guys get replaced every 2 years. You have got to go out and vote every 2 years.
I like this comment from Barry. A completely united left is doing something wrong. Yeah, it's herding cats. Oh, I lost Jenny. Jenny, no, come back. I've lost Jenny. I'm hoping she'll come back in a sec. Okay. I don't know what happened there. She dropped from the call. She is on a mobile, so maybe she removed herself from the call exit. I don't know. I don't know what happened there. Oh. I'll send her the link. I'll find her. I'll send her the link again. Send her the link through Twitter. I don't know what happened there, but I think Jenny's back. Sorry, I sent you the link. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, no, I don't know what's going on either. I can't get a picture suddenly.
Oh, you're on a mobile, so StreamYards isn't always great on mobile. So believe me, I know.
No, it's not going to work. I'd have to reboot everything to make it work.
Okay.
It will only take a minute if I do that. You can handle it on your own for a minute.
Oh, I think I'll be okay for a minute. Just
I'll reboot.
So, okay. I spent many years under the impression that our votes didn't matter, that they picked who won anyway, so I didn't vote. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, look, I have some. I mean, yeah, I'd say I have some issues with parliamentary democracy. Is how much actual real power, but you know, it's sort of kind of better than nothing, really, I suppose. And and I do get that, but I do totally get that whole thing that where people feel, hold on, we got we can periodically choose for which bunch of muppets want to misrepresent us. I can totally understand that sentiment as well, but um, I think so you kind of really do fuck yourself if you don't vote, though. Um, so no, I mean I don't. And I mean the only one I never ever took part in the UK was this when we had started having these police crime commissioner things to elect for. That's about the only one I missed, and I just to me it was a really ridiculous ceremonial type. It was just a ridiculous vote thing anyway. Um, so Jenny's back. Jade saying the conspiracy theories out there are just so insane. I used to believe in many of them.
Really?
Yeah,
Jade?
Jade used Jade. I forget what branch of Christianity it was. Jade was quite religious a few years ago. So uh,
What was the one big conspiracy that you believed in, and how did you break your addiction to it? I ask that because I think the same techniques have to be applied to Trumpians, that they need to be converted out of their cult mental attitude.
oh, I'm just going to share something on screen in a second. I guess I'm just going to say a public thank you to someone for tweeting this. Okay, so this is the American Postal Workers Union, solidarity with our CWU union family in the UK, are ready to stroke for a fair deal with Royal Mail. Companies' bosses are raked off in the profits while workers are struggling just to pay deal. An injury to one is an injury to all. I'd just like to say publicly thank you to the American Postal Workers Union for tweeting that. So I just saw that come up on my thread. So I just thought I'd have to say that out loud.
Well, I don't want to get into a fight about it with you, Barry, but I thoroughly disagree with that. Voting does matter. It matters so much.
I think
It's
Barry.
beyond
Yeah,
imagination how important it is, and especially now. This is a critical.
I don't think Barry's being serious about that. But
Well, all right.
yeah, you'll work. If you see a number of his posts, you'll work out his sense of humor a little bit.
Oh, okay. I don't know him at all. So sorry then,
But
Barry.
yeah, because the joke is, as you say, voting is stupid, but nobody's told the right wingers, so they keep turning up. So yeah,
Yeah, well, for them it's stupid. They just
yeah.
and actually it really is, because they're all voting against their own interests.
Mm.
What a bunch of lunatics.
It is. Yeah, I see. I see. I mean, sometimes I definitely look. I definitely look at like some of the people who vote Conservative, and I do feel like it's turkeys voting for Christmas. You know, or Thanksgiving if you're an American.
When I get into a discussion with somebody who says, no, I'm not going to vote, it doesn't matter, they don't vote, they don't actually count my vote, I bring to their attention all the low end, the local elections that happen that are won by one person or 10 people or 15. You
Mm,
know, that shows you that they matter. Okay, if 15 people can make the difference between democracy and Nazism, it sure sounds like they should vote. They do seem insurmountable, though. The people who choose not to vote, it's just they need to realize that they're abdicating all their power if they choose not to vote.
yeah. And Barry's clarifying what he's saying there. He means that left wing people will make all sorts of arguments why they don't show up to vote, but he clarifies that he votes in all elections, which I said I've only missed one, and that was in the last like 20 years, which was the police crime commissioner election. That's about the only time I didn't bother going to vote. But yeah, all the local elections, yeah, I make the point of going and voting. Um, oh,
The-
okay, okay. I'll read this out. Jade saying, "I don't know if I could pick what is Jade. This is about the conspiracy theory she used to believe. She did believe that the mass shootings were staged to enforce gun control. That was a big one.
oh,
Oh, she says she really regrets that one now. Um, yeah, well, at least you broke. At least you. And she also says, I believed aliens were actually demons on the backside of the moon, waiting for when Jesus comes back for the final war. So, Jay, yeah. So I mean, Jay, I'm so glad you've broken from those beliefs. Um, but
that's fascinating. I can buy the second one that you're discussing more than the first.
mm,
You know, how can you fake 29 dead children?
well,
You know,
this is the thing. You guys, like, I mean, and I've got to say, did you watch any of that? His trial, Jenny, Alex Jones, who
no, I didn't
started a
have
lot
any
of.
access to it.
Oh, it's clips on YouTube. It's fantastic. I mean, the moment because you heard about how they screwed up though, where Alex
Yep.
Jones's own lawyers accidentally sent all this stuff to like the prosecution,
Yeah.
the
Can you
people,
spell
like
malpractice coming?
yeah, and the look on. I mean, when he's quick questioning Alex Jones and the lawyer, the lawyer for the plaintiff says, "You do know what perjury is, Mister Jones, don't you?" And the look on Alex Jones's face, like, "Oh fuck."
Yeah, he paid his price. You know, I don't watch his show. I don't even have access to it, so I don't know what he's been saying since the trial, if he's even on the air. Um, but yeah, I feel like he's paid a price. It's 50 million. That should crush him like a bug.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I mean, hopefully he'll have to pay at least because I think he's trying. There isn't. I heard something about laws in Texas or whatever that they put caps on how much you can pay back. I don't quite understand how it all works, but
Oh, they hijacked videos and stuff. Okay, I can see how that
mm,
could be effective. The people who made up those lies, though, there has got to be a special place in hell for them.
it's it's just I yeah I don't quantify. I don't know how to quantify how you can make that. I mean, kind of shut up and just have such zero empathy for like families, because I don't. Yeah, the people actually believe this. I think their belief. Their beliefs are nuts, but the people actually believe this. I can maybe think okay, you've got some fucked up beliefs, but you know you but the guys like Alex Jones, who, I mean, let's face it, Alex Jones knows he's spewing shit. He doesn't believe any of the shit he spews. And to make up stuff like that, and like how you could just be so unfeeling to families and people who've lost loved ones, and I don't.
What the right wing and really all conspiracy creators are depending on is how easily duped the media is. The media is more easily duped than the individual people. You know, lots of people suck up to Trump, but the media gives every damn conspiracy platform. And by doing that, they're saying yes, this side is as valid as that side. No, lunacy is not as valid as truth. It's just not. You know? And to put that crap out there, you hurt people badly. It's like in the transgender world. Okay, we plodded along for the last 100 years perfectly fine with the general population, mixing in. Some people learn about it and learn about us and understand and even sometimes feel bad for us and that sort of thing. But then all of a sudden these fuckers in UK decide to start attacking the media with these fantasies and lies that they have about transgender. And it took, because the media was all happy to take something controversial on. And this little small group of like 20 people got this whole movement going that is based on nothing but absolute lies.
Right. And I keep saying this, but to the rest of the world, I do, especially to trans people all over the world, I do apologise on behalf of my country for J.K. Rowling.
She's as far as I'm concerned, she's a minor part. She didn't
Yeah.
show up for years, for 5, 6, 7 years after the movement got started. So yeah, she's got a bunch of money that she's given now, but she's a minor player as far as I'm concerned. And she still hasn't banned me on Twitter. I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
I think she tweets. I don't think she often responds to tweets anyway. She'll tweet some shit out. But this is kind of the thing where, because I know a lot of people will say will say to me about JK, look, I love her books, but I just can't. I said, well, look, yeah, there's the whole separating the art from the artist, and I said, I've got a similar thing with another big transphobic piece of shit, Graham Linehan. I love some of the comedy shows he's written. Father Ted is one of my favourite comedy shows. Black Books is one of my favourite comedy shows. They're great. They are absolutely brilliant. But Graham Linehan is an absolute transphobic piece of shit.
Mm-hmm. And you're sure not the first person I've heard say that. I've seen some of his work too, and yes, he is very funny.
And I will say, actually, some of the co-creators, I know the co-creator of Black Books, which was Dylan Moran, basically has denounced Graham Linehan over that. Yeah.
Trace back.
I'm going to say Ring's got the ultimate one here. He got blocked by David Silverman on Twitter, so that was. I'm envious.
I did get blocked by William Shatner.
I don't think I've ever engaged with him.
Well, I was proud. Oh boy.
You go back and watch some of the IT crowd, knowing that he's anti-trans. It hits different. Yeah, it does.
I gotta read that. What?
The IT crowd was and the one underneath saying it's the one where a woman says she used to be a man and the character punches her through the wall. Yeah, see, that takes on another context. Now we know Glinner's feelings on this issue.
Really? He put that in one of his shows?
I forgot all about that one. I will say the IT crowd was not my favourite of his shows. So, but yeah, Barry, Christ, I forgot about that.
Holy crap!
Thing. Yeah,
that is.
And that's the one, because the IT Crowd was the one he wrote himself, wasn't it? With Father Ted and Black Books, I think he had a collaborator for each of those shows. So, yeah,
Well, I'm sorry if
I
you're
forgot about that one.
if you're somebody who supports these people after vicious things like that, then you're just
Yeah,
as bad as them. You know, it's
I
the
seem to.
same as we blame cops. All cops are bad. Okay, maybe so. Then do something about them. You know, don't give them platform. Don't support them through your ignorance. I'm just nervous. You know, I
Mm,
as a trans woman, I'm my head's on the chopping block, literally. You know, these people
yeah,
want dead. Um, well, maybe not chopping block, maybe just a bullet in the back of the head, like that one preacher said. Um, and so I'm scared. I'm absolutely scared to death about what could happen in November
mm,
post, and what could happen even worse in 2024.
yeah. I mean, I said I've always. I mean, I've always had this policy with my channel, Jenny, as you know, like that. When if I'm going to talk about trans issues, I tend have trans issues spoken on my channel. I tend to have someone like yourself and just let you guys talk, because I still feel like there's shitloads I don't know and understand. So it's just sit back and try and learn a lot of the time with me. It's
Well, I keep encouraging you to ask questions.
yeah. Well, a lot of time if I have a question, yeah, I'll ask. But I just I get very. I don't. Well, what I'm saying is, it's not something I tend to go on my channel and talk about myself a lot,
Hmm.
because it's like if I'm gonna say something, not unless it's something I am really well informed on and double checked on something. But last video I did before like this stream was a big fuck you to Matt Powell for that attack on like Brie and other trans creators. So
Yeah, that one made me especially mad because Brie is such a nice person,
Brie is
and
awesome.
and and so new to transition, and for him, for Matt Walsh, it was Matt Walsh, right?
Matt
No,
Powell,
no, I'm sorry,
Cupcake. Yeah,
Matt
Cupcake. Matt Powell, who I'm
Powell.
going to just say this, is definitely not a closet gay. Okay, he's definitely not. Hi,
Really?
Matt. Yeah. Hi, Matt. I know you watch anytime anyone talks about you.
I despise Matt Powell. I would love to
Oh,
meet him in a back alley.
he's just a horrible human being. But it's the fact that I mean, the one I did have a bit of a laugh with Brie about this. It's like he can't even fucking dead name you correctly. He can't even get that right. Deliberately tried to dead name Bree and got it wrong. I won't say what Bree's. I mean, some people will know what Bree's old name was. I
Yeah,
won't say it
I
because it's a
I
dead.
do.
Because yeah,
What did
I know.
what did he say it was?
Here, Dave Bat Powell kept saying David.
Oh, okay.
So immediately now, I'm afraid. Sorry, this is only only British people are gonna get this joke. I immediately thought of a character called Trigger in a show called Only Fools and Horses. All right, Dave. I'm so afraid only British people are going to get that reference though. But basically, there's a character in this comedy show called Only Fools and Horses called Trigger, who and there's another one of the main characters is called Rodney, and for like the whole run of the show, he always kept calling Rodney Dave. It was like this running joke. He just didn't understand that that wasn't his name. You know, it's a bit difficult to explain. If British people will get it, British people will understand that reference entirely. But that's kind of what it was with Matt Power. I just wanted to almost like write a just wanted to write a comment on his video, just saying, "All right, trigger," you know.
Oh God. Well, I stand on the dais of most people who are verbally, publicly out with their quote unquote hate of trans or LGBT people in general, are just holding back on their own feelings. They have something going on inside that they're afraid to face, and so they attack because that's a way of keeping down the demons in yourself.
I think, yeah. I mean, a lot of people don't. I mean, I think there's a lot of people genuinely still don't understand it. I mean, I'll certainly go back a few years, and I'll admit, even though I would try to be like supportive of trans people, I still didn't really understand what being trans was. And I still, a lot of ways, I still feel ignorant on a lot of things, which is like I said, why sometimes I'm a little reluctant to speak on something, because I'm kind of afraid. I'm almost, should we say, afraid of the damage I might do if I say something that is really fucking wrong. I'm kind of almost afraid of the hurt I might cause. So that's why that's kind of why I'm a little reluctant to.
Okay, I just
Yeah,
I want to
you
disagree
under,
with that, and let me
yeah,
explain why.
okay,
Um, yes, you may say something that may be objectionable to some people. That's very possible. I might say something that's objectionable to various people, but you're not on the same level as the people who are hating us.
yeah,
Marjorie Taylor Greene in Congress has introduced a bill that will put every doctor who treats trans people and pharmacists in any way, shape, or form in jail.
mm,
Okay, that's going directly at the heart of us. We depend on our doctors and stuff for part of our existence, and for her to propose that is just the most mean, vicious, hateful thing possible. And I'm sure any trans person would agree with that. It's just, you can't get any more wrong than that.
yeah. Maybe I need to sort of just reevaluate how I approach this particular issue, perhaps. Um, but you get where I'm coming from. That I don't.
Yeah,
It's just more of a thing that I don't want to cause any more unnecessary hurt or put any more unnecessary ignorance on an issue out there into the world.
yeah. But that's how you learn.
Yeah. So maybe I'd perhaps need to be a little more adventurous in addressing these things, just so yeah, then people can tell. Because I mean,
Yeah,
generally, I know, yeah, Jenny, I know you will tell me if I'm fucking getting something seriously wrong, and I know other people in the community would do as well. So
well, you're a known good guy, okay?
yeah,
At least in our little portion of the world. And so somebody's gonna say something to you, but I don't think there's gonna be this mass hatred unless it's somebody from out our circle. And
unless
chances
essence of
are,
thought comes, unless essence of thought comes across it, then there will be a cancel campaign. But
um, and so if you say something that's bad and somebody who's outside our community confronts you on it, I'm sure there'd be somebody from our community who would correct that person very shortly after, letting them know that you're one of the good guys and you're learning and made a slip up, and is to
yeah.
absolutely be forgiven for it. This isn't, well, it is life and death now, but
Thanks,
um,
Jenny. And I'd just say thanks, Jay, for the nice comment there. Is people know you weren't coming from a hateful place. Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. Maybe I need to be a bit more adventurous with asking questions. I'd say sometimes if I'm not sure about something. But I do see a lot. I just sometimes I see some real just shit put out there though. It's.
well, you have my direct mail and all that.
Yeah.
If you ever have a question that you want to ask, but you perceive it to be too salacious to say on the air,
Yeah,
contact me privately and be as salacious as you want, because you're not going to offend me at all. No chance.
yeah. Well, I'm sure you probably heard everything before at some point, Jenny. So you know.
Yeah, I haven't heard any new stuff. As much as these people think they're creative with their little insults.
Yeah.
My favorite one is well, if they dig up your body in 800 years, they're gonna know it's a male skeleton, and the answer to that is yeah. So
And
I'm
that
dead. Who
means
cares?
what exactly? Yeah.
Oh God. The one that makes me truthfully angry and sad and all those kinds of feelings is when they are now accusing us of being groomers and predators and that kind of stuff. That I have yet to know a true transgender person
Yeah.
who is any of those things or even close.
Well, again, I
And
think this is where and I'll go back to, shall I say, my own, and okay, I will say this out loud just because it was my own personal ignorance on the subject from like going back a number of years ago. I think some people think being trans is some sort of a kink or something, and I will hold my hand up. I used to think that until I sort of made that thing out loud. Somebody who was trans actually corrected me pretty fucking sharp on this. But I think some people still think stuff like that. That it's some sort of sexual thing, and they don't get it. It's like, no, it's not. It's nothing to do with that whatsoever.
I agree, but if they tag it onto sex, then they can rally up the religious fanatics.
Yeah,
I think it's very worthy to know um, that I would bet the vast majority of trans people at some point have felt those same misogynistic things that you express, like it being all about sex
yeah,
and trans people are perverts and they're the worst of the worst of the worst, and that it's something that we had to deprogram ourselves about. I mean, I know I definitely had feelings even after I found out the language and compared it to how I felt and what I believed. I still wanted it to not be true and to make
yeah.
those people go away.
I,
Um, and it takes time to realize your errors.
yeah, I mean, it takes a lot. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean, with me, I mean, it was like I said, I was under that misconception for a long, quite a long time, and so yeah, it was sort of explaining, no, this is not what it is, and you kind of learn from there. Okay, so you have to, you know, uh, and I think sometimes reevaluating your whole way of thinking about something can be actually kind of scary to a lot of people as well, which is sad, but I find it kind of somewhat refreshing sometimes when you're forced to reevaluate the way you think about a subject or whatever, and realize, okay, I was completely wrong. Um, I think it's a refreshing thing. I think some people feel very threatened when they have to put in a position where they have to reevaluate their thoughts.
Yeah, well, people are so conditioned to never admitting to a mistake
Yeah,
because that would make
yeah,
them imperfect. Sorry, babes, we're all in way imperfect, and we all make mistakes, and some of us
mm.
like to do it more than once.
It's yeah, it's trying not to repeat the same mistakes, isn't it? And yeah, sometimes we fail in that as well. But yeah, as much as possible, you kind of want to be right more than you do wrong. So it's that old adage. I'd sooner believe as many more as things that are true, as many true things as possible, and things that are false. So I want to try and be open to the fact that I'm probably wrong about a lot of things. So
Barry, I missed your comment before, but I just caught it now. Your comment about the hallmarks of hate movement. That's an excellent phrase. I really like that, and you are absolutely correct.
so we'll look at this. Oh yeah, I'm not sorry, Barry. I don't know anything about trans, and I tweet about it all the time. You don't need to know. You have to know anything about trans to spot the hallmarks of a hate movement. Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's it. That's it. A lot of the people who are tweeting about this, tweeting or making videos about this all the time, they don't have a fuck. They not even bother to understand what being trans is. They just don't. They're not interested in understanding.
They think that their
So,
opinion qualifies as a fact,
mm.
and it just doesn't.
I got to ask Bree because she did some responses to a guy yes down her Life and Hype show, and first of all he made a load of dumbass comments about atheism for a start, which I thought, oh, I can address some of them, and then he did some video about being trans, which obviously Bree ripped this to fucking shreds, and but I'm looking at this guy. It's like he's kind of one of those. Hey, look, don't hate me. I'm just asking questions, and I want to know. And it's like, but yeah, you're not really asking questions, are you? He's just. It's quite obviously he's not asking questions at all. He's just being a fucking bigot, and you know, it's
Oh,
not going to
that's
be tough. Yeah,
that's a well-known technique that these people. It's a very immature technique, but it's still
yeah.
very common. Of oh, well, I'm not saying anything bad about you. I'm just asking questions. No, you're not. You're framing your hatred in such a way that you can pretend it's a question because you're not even going to listen to the response. Bastards.
Okay. Well, I've been going about an hour and a half now, so I think I might wrap this up, Jenny. So, you got anything you want to plug before we go, Jenny?
Probably, but I can't remember right now.
Well, Jenny's normally on Purple Rhymes of Oranges streams. You're quite regular on there, aren't you? So, always love to purple. Um, um, as for myself, I don't think I've got anything. I'm not well. I said I've got some ideas, things I'm trying, shows I'm trying to get on, but I need to get back to certain people and work out dates on things. But I am going to pursue the AAI story a bit more because I think that's a very important story for atheist community right now, and really it's only been really free for profit and a couple of other shows or whatever that brought any light to it. So I think so that's probably what I'll be doing over in the foreseeable future. Okay, this has been Jeff, aka Gauntlet Scammer. Myself and Jenny, we shall see you all later. Salute.
Bye bye. Bye bye, chat. We love you.